哎，问什么？
Donnie Yen is a Chinese-born actor, fight and stunt coordinator, director, and producer. He became an idol for Asian action fans all over the world and achieved success in Hollywood. We will tell you how he did it in this video. Ip Man, how Donnie Yen lives and what he spends his millions on. The actor's real name is Yen Chitan, and he was born on July 27, 1963 in the southern Chinese city of Guangzhou, also known as Canton. In the Beijing dialect, his surname is pronounced Zhen, and Yen is the Cantonese pronunciation. The father of the family, Kleister Yen, was a violinist, and his mother, Bao Sim Mak, was a vocalist in the Guangzhou Symphony Orchestra. There they met, but 2 years after the birth of their son, the family split up. The father and the child emigrated to Hong Kong, but the authorities did not allow Mark to move. Only at the age of 9, the boy managed to see his mother again, and the family was finally reunited with the birth of his younger sister Chris. During the separation, Mark mastered martial arts and dreamed of opening her own school in Hong Kong. But she ran into the local mafia there, and the market was already divided. Mark also taught her children martial arts. Therefore, it's not surprising that Chris is also a master of martial arts. And in the thousands, she tried herself in the cinema. The parents also cultivated a love of music in their children. Donnie plays the piano and several other instruments very well, but his main passion remained martial arts. The boy studied specialized books and repeated everything, regardless of style. When he was 11 years old, the Yen family moved to the United States, settling into the suburbs of Boston. Across the ocean, Donnie's father worked as an editor of a Chinese-language newspaper, and Mark finally managed to realize her dream and founded the Chinese Wushu Research Institute. The school quickly became popular, and Donnie became one of the best students. He closely watched movies with his favorite actor-fighters, Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, and repeated their tricks. But he treated Chuck Norris with disdain because he could easily distinguish which films show real Chinese martial arts and which are fake. As a teenager, Donnie began practicing Japanese karate, Korean taekwondo, and Western boxing, as well as hip-hop and breakdancing. He started skipping school and spent time in the infamous Combat Zone, the criminal district of Boston. The teenager participated in underground MMA fights, started leading a nightlife, and even joined a gang. To protect her son from gang life, Donnie's mom sent him to Beijing on a 4-year training program with the Beijing Wushu team. In 1983, Yen decided to return to the United States, intending to establish his own martial arts school in Hollywood. But before leaving, he stopped by Hong Kong so that a friend of his mother, at her own request, would evaluate Donnie's fighting abilities. This friend was the director Yuen Wu-ping, who immediately invited the young man to audition for his new comedy thriller Drunken Tai Chi, also known as Drunken Tai Chi Master.
That'll teach you to fool around with me, little boy!
Young master, are you okay, sir? That fat bitch, it's only because she weighs 2 tons she is.
In just 5 minutes, Yen impressed the crew and was approved for the lead role. The film was released in 1984, but Donnie didn't like the filming process. He was annoyed by the director, who explained almost nothing but would yell if he didn't like something. At that time, Yen didn't think for a minute that he could stay in the cinema for a long time, and nevertheless, the collaboration with Yuen Wu-ping continued. A year later, the film Mismatched Couples was released, on the set of which the actor suffered a severe injury to his right shoulder. It still bothers him to this day. This was followed by 2 parts of the film Tiger Cage and the action movie In the Line of Duty 4, Witness, also directed by Yuen Wu-ping. The master revealed to Donnie the specifics of staging combat scenes in movies, and over the years of cooperation, the actor has worked out his own style of on-screen combat. Then Donnie began to work with other directors and starred in the films Holy Virgin vs. the Evil Dead, Crystal Hunt, New Dragon Gate Inn, Cheetah on Fire, Butterfly, and Sword, but the role in the action movie Once Upon a Time in China 2, where he starred with Jet Li in 1992, became a landmark for Yen.
黃師傅不愧係民團總教練，失禮失禮，大人見笑。頭先只不過向黃師傅請教幾招，黃師傅嘅少林棍法果然名不虛傳。
This work earned Donnie a nomination for the Hong Kong Film Award in the category Best Supporting Actor. In 1993, the actor reunited with Wu-ping on the set of the action movie Iron Monkey.
有冇聽過鐵馬路？街知巷聞啦，你想揾佢咩？
如果俾我揾到佢，我一定扭甩佢個頭。
And the film turned out to be a success and was remembered for the fight scene with Shaolin monks, which Donnie directed. Ironically, this particular fragment was largely the result of film editing and flying on cables, but almost all other scenes were painstakingly choreographed. Iron Monkey was all the more remarkable because a few years later after its release in Asia, it was acquired by the Miramax Film Studio, reworked, re-recorded, and shown in US cinemas. After the premiere in New York and Los Angeles, the film received critical acclaim from American critics and a prize at the Taurus Awards ceremony, the annual award of the World Academy of Stuntmen for the best stunts in cinema. In November of the same 1993, Donnie Yen married model Leung Jing-chi, but their family life lasted less than a year. After the breakup, Leung found out that she was pregnant, and in 1995, their son Manseok Yen was born. During this time, the actor starred in the films Hero Among Heroes, Wing Chun, where he also acted as a composer writing the soundtrack, as well as High Voltage. In the latter, he made his debut as a co-director, and in 1996, the sequel to Iron Monkey was released. Next, the audience saw the action films Ballistic Kiss, Shanghai Affairs, and Legend of the Wolf.
I hope to remember who I was after seeing you. You can't understand. Every night I have nightmares. It's terrible. I can't remember.
All three were directed by Yen himself. The latter is also known as the new big boss and has become a true cult classic. After his divorce from his first wife, Donnie began dating an actress and fashion model from Hong Kong named Joey Meng. Their relationship ended in 2000, but one episode that happened in the late 90s stands out a lot. The young people went to relax in one of the nightclubs in Hong Kong, and when Donnie went to make an order, 8 heavily drunk men showed unwelcomed interest in Joey. They were not stopped by the presence of the boyfriend, nor his warning to move away. When the couple left the club, the company continued to chase them on the street and attacked Yen. It was a big mistake because in the end, all 8 men ended up in the hospital with fractures, abrasions, concussions, and bruises. Donnie himself only suffered a minor bruise and was arrested the next day, but was released almost immediately when the police found out it was self-defense. In 2000, the fantasy action film Highlander Endgame with Adrian Paul and Christopher Lambert in the lead roles was released.
One day soon, we will all serve very little purpose to Cal except dead.
It was the first American film in which Donnie Yen was cast. He played the immortal Jin Ki and choreographed the fight scenes. The next film, Blade 2, was also an American production. And then Donnie returned to his homeland and starred with Jet Li in the fantasy action movie Hero. The movie made Yen popular among the public of mainland China, and when released in wide theaters in the United States, it became one of the most successful foreign language films ever distributed in the American market. Yen's next work was the 2003 American-Hong Kong action movie Shanghai Nights with his favorite actor Jackie Chan.
I hope there will be more trust between us when I'm emperor and you are the new king.
At the same time, the actor's second marriage took place. He married Cecilia Wang. She was previously a model and won the Miss China beauty pageant in Toronto in 2000. They met through mutual friends at one of the parties. Their friends thought it was funny that People magazine called Yen the diamond of fighting movies, and Cecilia's parents were engaged in the jewelry business. They turned out to have a lot in common. Both grew up in the West and in the East, into musicians' families, and besides, they had the same taste and views on life. Cecilia didn't watch films starring Yen, but she was impressed by his sense of humor and excellent manners. A few months later, the couple got engaged. Donnie was very anxious about the acquaintance with her father because he had quite strict rules, and the age difference between the bride and groom was almost 20 years. But after talking privately for a while, Wang Sr. commonly asked when the wedding date was. Yen said that he was ready to burst into tears with happiness when he heard this. The wedding took place on August 30, 2003 in Canada on the shores of Lake Ontario in Toronto. A year later, they had a daughter, Jasmine, and then a son, James. Donnie often arranges romantic surprises for his wife, gives flowers for every holiday, and on the first anniversary, he sang a serenade of his own composition to his beloved. On the 10th anniversary, he got a tattoo on the lower back with one of the hieroglyphs of her name, meaning poetry. The actor admits that his wife is not just a beloved woman for him, but also a friend, assistant, and business partner. A romantic in life, Yen continued to star in the action films The Twins Effect 2, Seven Swords, SPL, Sha Po Lang, and Dragon Tiger Gate. However, in 2004, he also appeared in one rom-com, Love on the Rocks. In 2007, Donnie played the main role in the film Flashpoint and received an award from the Hong Kong Film Award for choreographing the fights in it. The actor worked so hard on the set that he had to go to the doctors every 2 days to recover physically. A year later, the films Painted Skin, An Empress, and The Warriors were released, but the main hit was the action movie Ip Man, about the invincible Wing Chun master who opened his own martial arts school and became known as Bruce Lee's teacher.
You know, Captain Lee, we martial artists have a lot of energy. Sometimes we might be a bit loud, but that doesn't mean we're not civilized.
The plot of the film was close to the original biography of Ip Man with added fiction. In terms of combat choreography and biographical data, the crew was advised by the son of Master Ip Chun. Donnie Yen himself visited the city of Foshan, where the master lived, and spent a lot of time with his sons, listening to stories about their father, family life, and martial arts. Before the premiere of Ip Man, Donnie's fees were somewhere at the level of $1 million per film, but after that, the figure increased 3.5 times. In 2009, the actor appeared in a documentary about Bruce Lee, the action movie Bodyguards and Assassins, and the historical drama The Founding of a Republic. This film was released to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the foundation of the People's Republic of China, and many Chinese actors were eager to star in it, albeit in a cameo role and for free. Donnie Yen played one of the members of the Communist Party, thereby showing his loyalty to mainland China, not Hong Kong. By the way, he was repeatedly criticized for this position and ignoring the ongoing protests in Hong Kong. To one of these comments reproaching him for fighting for justice only on screen, Donnie replied that he was fighting for the Chinese people. It is worth noting that the most profitable fan base of Yen lives in mainland China. After the success of the first film about Ip Man, filming of the sequel begun almost immediately. It was released in 2010.
單邊油條係你細嗰陣時話要食㗎嘛？我幾時講過啊？你真係唔記得咗啊？睇嚟我細個都幾風趣。
最衰你而家一啲都唔風趣啊！
There was even less truth about the main character in it, but the story was generously favored with action scenes, and the fees exceeded the first part almost twice. Filming turned out to be difficult for Donnie. He fainted twice from overwork, and if in the previous film the creators collaborated with the master's son, this time he criticized Donnie Yen, calling him ungrateful. And the fact is that, according to the actor, the success of the films has nothing to do with the martial art of Wing Chun. Other representatives of the martial arts world and Donnie's colleagues joined the criticism. All in all, the actor is known for regularly quarreling with directors, calling them incompetent people, tyrants, and pushovers. He is unashamedly expressive, even towards the eminent masters. In the next few years, the actor starred in China and Hong Kong in such films as 14 Blades, Legends of the Fist, The Return of Chen Zhen, The Lost Bladesman, Dragon, as well as 2 comedies, All's Well Ends Well 2011 and 2012. This was followed by the release of Special ID. Together, The Monkey King, Iceman, Kung Fu Jungle, and Inspector Calls, and in December 2015, the premiere of Ip Man 3 took place.
今日我要收你咧，因為我將會係你最勁嗰度。你憑咩咁諗啊？因為我個快。
Donnie explained the long break between the second and third parts by saying that many other films and TV projects about the character were coming out, and the market was somewhat oversaturated. This time, the plot virtually doesn't overlap with the real biography of the Great Master, but the formula for success with a large number of battle scenes worked again, and the film grossed $157 million with a budget of $36 million. Donnie's wife was very worried about her husband because he had to fight Mike Tyson on the set, but her fears were unfounded. On the contrary, Yen broke the famous boxer's finger. Back in 2015, the actor established the Yen's Honor Protection Fund in order to enable celebrities to defend themselves from slander. Donnie won the money with which the organization was founded in court against director Tan Bin. He accused Yen of refusing to work on his project, and he hired bots to threaten the actor's family. In 2016, the actor played the main role in the Netflix adventure thriller Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword of Destiny, and in the epic space opera Rogue One.
Really? He's praying for the door to open.
It bothers him because he knows it's possible.
Donnie doubted whether to accept the invitation to play in the latter because he needed to be away from his family for a long time to film it, but his children literally forced him. They were so excited that their dad was going to be in a movie with lightsabers and spaceships that he couldn't resist. There in the US, Yen replaced Jet Li, who left the project for unknown reasons, in the action-adventure film XXX: Return of Xander Cage. The premiere took place in early 2017, and soon the actor returned to his homeland to star in the crime drama Chasing the Dragon and the comedy thriller Big Brother. At the end of 2019, Ip Man 4, the finale, premiered. Despite Donnie Yen's statements that he didn't want to return to the series again, it is reported that his fee amounted to $12.8 million. In January 2020, the actor played a policeman who constantly gets into ridiculous situations in the comedy project Enter the Fat Dragon, and in March, the world saw him in the Disney movie Mulan. The actor got the role of Commander Tung, the mentor of the main character.
I'm your commanding officer. Fighting will not be tolerated, am I clear?
Yes, Commander.
In 2021, Donnie Yen appeared in the movie Raging Fire. In 2022, he starred in the fantasy New Kung Fu Cult Master 1 and in the adventure thriller Come Back Home. The release of the action movie The Father and the film adaptation of the popular video game Sleeping Dogs is also expected. But most fans are all waiting for the fourth part of the story about John Wick with Keanu Reeves. The project is at the post-production stage, that is, filming has already ended, and the main director of the combat scenes in this film doesn't hide the fact that he giggled like a boy while working with his childhood idol. Jet Li, Jackie Chan, and Michelle Yeoh consider Donnie Yen the best fighter in modern Asian cinema. He has a 6th-degree black belt in Taekwondo, a black belt in Judo, a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and continues to master new techniques. He also introduces mixed martial arts into Asian cinema. On his social media, the actor shows great athleticism, but understands that with age, his capabilities become more and more limited. He is not afraid that one day he won't be able to do what he is capable of doing now, and gradually switches to directing, producing, and other work on the other side of the camera. Donnie Yen also speaks several languages. He can speak Cantonese, Mandarin, and English fluently. During the filming of one of the films, he mastered Korean, and he can also understand the Shanghai dialect spoken by his wife's family. Donnie's Yen fortune is estimated at $40 million. He is considered one of the highest paid actors in Asia. Movie shooting fees are usually $7 to $8 million, but in addition, Yen has his own clothing brand DY Edition and a brand of sunglasses, Donnie Eye. Besides, according to media reports, one commercial featuring an actor cost companies approximately $1 million. So he advertised a remedy for back pain, Hublot watches, BMW cars, the Nike sports brand, several video games, and together with his wife, they were the faces of the brand of orthopedic mattresses and pillows, Sinomax. Yen is also involved in several projects. For example, he called for the abandonment of plastic and appeared in an advertisement for the rescue services of Hong Kong. The actor is actively engaged in charity work, and in 2012, together with his wife, founded an online platform encouraging people to help others. He is an ambassador of the international organization Save the Children. In 2015, he visited refugee camps in Thailand, and in 2020, he donated $130,000 to medical workers in Wuhan. Yen has at least 6 properties in Hong Kong, each of which, except one, was bought for $1.5 million. The exception is a house in a prestigious area of Hong Kong, which cost $17 million. The media called this mansion the most stylish fortress with a gym and living room with a grand piano standing out in particular. It is reported that this property is 80% owned by Donnie's wife, and he owns only 20%. In the garage, the actor has several Lamborghinis, Bentley Continental GT, and Toyota Alphard for family trips, and his closet contains very expensive accessories. He wears a $14,000 Rolex and an Audemars Piguet worth about $70,000. And back in 2016, Donnie bought a horse named Bad Boy who participated in horse racing. The actor himself often attends horse races. Do you like movies with Donnie Yen? How Michael Douglas lives and how much he earns. Michael Kirk Douglas was born on September 25, 1944, in the young acting family of Kirk Douglas and Diana Dill. The boy was born in New Brunswick, New Jersey, but soon the family moved to New York. 2.5 years later, Michael had a younger brother, Joel. The family lived in a one-room apartment in the Greenwich Village area. Right now, our hero is called the heir to the show business's royal dynasty, but back then, his parents were just starting their careers. Kirk spent most of his time in California filming under a studio contract, and his marriage with Diana couldn't withstand it. Michael's parents divorced when he was 6 years old, and he stayed with his mother. 7 years later, she remarried. Stepfather became the first adult Michael could talk to about anything, and thanks to whom the young man felt confident for the first time. But at school, none of the teachers could restrain his violent temperament. Even though Michael studied well, he skipped classes and talked back to the teachers. For some time, the young man worked at a mobile gas station. Some days he was an employee of the month, and other days he would track cars and steal spare parts from them with his friends. In addition to his stepfather, the authority for Douglas Jr. was his father, who managed to become a movie icon for the whole of America. Michael was so impressed by Kirk's films and the time spent with him on the set during the summer holidays that he also wanted to become an actor. He often asked his father which doors to knock on to break into Hollywood, but he was categorically against his son's choice of profession. However, when Michael enrolled at the University of California as a dramatic arts major and played in theatrical productions, Kirk came to his son's every performance, no matter how busy he was. At university, Douglas became friends with Danny DeVito, who later became his flatmate. They rented an apartment in New York for $150 a month. At the same time, the young man earned a living by delivering coffee at the cinema and working behind the scenes. Nevertheless, Kirk contributed to the beginning of his son's acting career. Together, they starred in and produced the 1966 film Cast a Giant Shadow. The following roles came only several years later. In the late 60s, early 70s, Douglas starred in several TV series and films such as Hail Hero and Summer Tree. On the set, the young man met a young promising actress, Brenda Vaccaro. The couple was inseparable for 6 years, living like hippies and vowing eternal love to each other. Michael calls this time the most wonderful in his life. But the relationship ended abruptly. Brenda just got in the car and left. The young actor's first significant work was the role of an inspector in the TV series The Streets of San Francisco, which he received in 1972 and played for 5 years.
I've got 2 eyewitnesses.
What did they see?
Police brutality.
Oh, come on now. Joe Landers? Look, he may be a little hard-nosed, but he never manhandled anybody. I don't buy that. All right, did they see the gun go off?
Not who was holding it, no.
His partner on the set was Kirk Douglas' friend Carl Malden. He called Michael the son he never had and insisted on his participation in the project. Interestingly, even after moving to Hollywood, Michael continued to pay his part of the rent while DeVito remained in New York. Also in 1972, our hero appeared in the films When Michael Calls and Napoleon and Samantha. The latter has become a classic of American children's films. Later, Douglas was caught up with the work behind the scenes. He directed one of the episodes of Streets of San Francisco and began working on the film adaptation of Ken Kesey's novel One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The rights to the film adaptation belonged to Kirk, but he abandoned the hope of implementing the project, so he handed them over to his son. The film surpassed all expectations, winning 5 Oscars and bringing fabulous profits to the Douglas dynasty. Since then, our hero has acted as a producer in many films in which he starred. In 1977, Michael married the daughter of an Australian diplomat, Deandra Luker, and a year later they had a son, Cameron. According to both spouses, their life together was like a volcano. It subsided for a while, then erupted with terrible force. And there were a lot of infidelities. Deandra said in an interview that she once caught her husband with her friend, but each time she forgave him. In 1978, the thriller The China Syndrome was released. Douglas's payout in which amounted to $262,000. For his next film, the sports drama Running, Michael trained a lot and ran about 55 miles a week. In addition, he stopped smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day and lost almost 13 pounds. Then, the movie It's My Turn came out, but a successful career had to be put on pause for several years. In 1980, Douglas was seriously injured at a ski resort and returned to the screens only in 1983 with the crime thriller The Star Chamber. It didn't become widely known, unlike his next work, the adventure film Romancing the Stone. Michael, who also became the producer, bought the script for $250,000. And as a result, the box office around the world exceeded $85 million.
Oh, God damn it, what a ride, huh? I'm telling you, this has turned out to be one hell of a morning.
Equally successful was the sequel titled The Jewel of the Nile in 1985, although Douglas took part in the sequel without much desire. Soon, the musical A Chorus Line was released on the screens, and in 1987, the world saw two hits at once, Fatal Attraction and Wall Street. For the former, Douglas received $13 million, and for the later, 2 major film awards, a Golden Globe and an Oscar. In addition, the role of the stock market shark and concurrently the main villain ironically inspired many people to make a career in economics and the stock market. In 1989, Michael presented to the audience the crime thriller Black Rain and the comedy The War of the Roses. In the latter, he worked with his friend Danny DeVito. Then, he produced several films, including the action movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme, Double Impact, and starred in the military drama Shining Through. But the absolute hit of 1992 was the thriller Basic Instinct, for which Douglas received $15 million.
My sex life's actually pretty shitty since I stopped seeing you. Started developing calluses.
According to Michael, shooting the sex scene with Sharon Stone was torture because they had to repeat the choreography for 10 hours of the shooting day for 5 days in a row. In addition, the actor forbade shooting himself naked from the front. By the way, he performed almost all the car stunts on his own. The role of the detective from Basic Instinct became one of the brightest in Douglas's career. But he didn't get stuck in one role. In the next movie, Falling Down, he appeared in the image of an average guy who cannot stand the injustice of the world. To participate in the project, Michael canceled a family vacation and later called this role his favorite. Then, the actor added several roles to his filmography in the films Disclosure with a payout of $12 million and American President. While working on the latter, Douglas discovered a distant relationship to U.S. President Richard Nixon and both Bush, and the payout amounted to $15 million. His intuition for hits didn't let the actor and producer down. Each of his next projects was a great success. For example, the adventure film The Ghost and the Darkness and the thrillers A Perfect Murder and The Game, for each of which Michael received $20 million.
Oh, no, you've got to be kidding.
What is happening?
This is what I was trying to explain to you. This is a game.
Meanwhile, big changes were taking place in his personal life. Since the mid-90s, their marriage with Deandra was a conformity, and they just couldn't agree on the terms of the divorce. Even the marriage contract didn't make the task easier because Deandra wanted to increase the amount of compensation and Michael wanted to reduce it. At the same time, he was invested in a new relationship. In 1998, at the screening of The Mask of Zorro, he saw Catherine Zeta-Jones and was so fascinated by her that he immediately declared his desire to become the father of her children. Later, the actress would admit that she immediately fell in love with him, but didn't want to have an affair with the taken man. However, 6 months after they met, they would spend hours on the phone talking about everything in the world. After that, the relationship developed rapidly. On New Year's Eve of 1999, Catherine was already pregnant, and Michael offered his beloved a long-prepared ring with a 10-carat diamond surrounded by 28 smaller stones. Its cost is estimated from $1 to $2 million. The actor's first wife then, without sarcasm, told reporters that he would have to change his religion to one where polygamy is allowed. But Douglas was already ready to agree to all Deandra's conditions. So in 2000, he paid her $45 million and left her a mansion in Beverly Hills, as well as half of the estate in Majorca. By the way, Michael tried several times to find a buyer for his luxury property, but since the ex-wife remained the co-owner, he took it off the market. In August of the same year, Catherine gave birth to their first child, Dylan Michael, and in November, they had a gorgeous wedding of the year, which cost the actor $2 million. However, $1 million was covered because the magazine OK paid for an exclusive photos from the magnificent celebration. Interestingly, Michael and Catherine were born on the same day with a difference of 25 years. Personal affairs didn't prevent Douglas from actively acting and producing. So, in the same year 2000, he presented the movie Wonder Boys and together with his young wife appeared in the thriller Traffic. These two projects brought our hero $15 million. This was followed by the films One Night at Nicole's, Don't Say a Word, The In-Laws, and It Runs in the Family. The latter involved representatives of 3 generations of the Douglas family, Kirk and Diana, their son Michael, and grandson Cameron. In 2003, the family of Michael and Catherine welcomed their daughter Caraceta. After her birth, the celebrities moved to Bermuda, where our hero's mother is from. For more than 10 years, the couple lived in a quiet life, leaving only for filming, and the children didn't even know what their parents were doing. Their daughter recalled that as a child, she was sure that the main occupation of her dad's life was to bake pancakes for breakfast and please mom. The couple still owns this cozy nest, although they tried to sell it in 2019 for $10.6 million, but changed their minds. After a short break in his creative activity, Douglas returned to the screens in 2006 with the films The Sentinel, You, Me and Dupree, and a year later presented the comedy drama King of California. Then came the movies Ghosts of Girlfriends Past, Beyond a Reasonable Doubt, Solitary Man, and the continuation of the 1987 drama Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps.
You're the ninja generation. No income, no job, no assets. You got a lot to look forward to.
A busy period in his career again coincided with the vicissitudes of private life. His eldest son Cameron was a drug addict, and our hero had to forbid him to approach his family. In 2009, Cameron was accused of smuggling, which led him behind bars. By the way, Michael himself also suffered from addiction and in the 90s received treatment in a rehab clinic. His son also managed to get over a dangerous addiction, and Catherine Zeta-Jones at that difficult time became a real support for the family. But soon, another misfortune struck them. In 2010, Michael was diagnosed with laryngeal cancer. Catherine did everything to help her husband heal, but soon she couldn't stand the stress, and she started showing signs of bipolar disorder. Her periods of incredible activity were replaced by the deepest depression, and Michael didn't take his wife's problems seriously at all. These events almost put an end to their union, and they seriously talked about divorce, but still managed to make up. In 2012 to 2014, such films as Haywire and So It Goes, Beyond the Reach, and the biographical drama Behind the Candelabra were released. In the latter, the actor played the legend of American show business pianist and entertainer Liberace. And this role became a real gift for him after his illness. He trained for a long time, recreating the voice of his character and studied his piano playing technique. Also during this period, the actor starred in the comedy drama Las Vegas, along with Robert De Niro and Morgan Freeman.
It's just winding up a little too fast, and I'm feeling old and alone.
In 2015, Michael joined the Marvel Cinematic Universe playing the role of Hank Pym in the movie Ant-Man. He appeared in the same image in other projects, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Avengers Endgame, and the animated series What If. In addition, during the period, the actor starred in the action movie Unlocked, the thriller Animal World, took part in the voiceover of the children's series Green Eggs and Ham, and presented the series The Kominsky Method. For this comedic role, which is rare for him, Douglas received another Golden Globe.
Why?
It is fine.
Which is what I said.
No, you said it with an attitude, and you said, fine.
Forgive me. Fine.
Jesus, let's just order.
Fine.
In addition, our hero worked as a producer on the prequel to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The series rashade about a psychiatric hospital nurse. At the end of 2018, Michael Douglas's star was unveiled on the Hollywood Walk, dedicated to the 50th anniversary of his career. The actor admits that only work helps him keep in shape and to be fit, and he has a lot of projects. In February 2023, the premiere of the fantastic action movie Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania took place, where Douglas again played Hank Pym. The filming of the series, Franklin, about American President Benjamin Franklin, has already begun, and work is underway on a historical series about the relationship between two other presidents, Reagan and Gorbachev. Neither age nor illness affected Douglas's intelligence, and he was still surprising others with his ability to instantly remember the names of people he sees for the first time, and to notice the slightest nuances that distinguish the manner of the interlocutor's behavior. He loves golf and Formula One, and also does a lot of charity work. As the UN peace envoy, he is on a mission to draw the world's attention to nuclear disarmament and the protection of human rights. Philanthropy Douglas's family affair. Through the registered fund, they send money to various organizations. The entire inheritance from Kirk Douglas of $61 million was also sent to a charity, especially since Michael's fortune greatly exceeds his father's capital. It is estimated at $350 million earned as an actor and producer. In addition, Douglas invests. However, after the 2008 crisis, when he lost about 35 to 40% of his fortune, Michael became more conservative in investments. Douglas owns a valuable real estate portfolio with assets all over the world, which he gradually sells for his own benefit. He owned a plot of land with an area of more than 12 acres in Westchester County, New York, which he bought in 2015 for $11.3 million and sold in 2019 for $20.5 million. Around the same time, he and Catherine paid only $4.5 million for a house in the wealthy suburb of Irvington in New York State. The 3-story Georgian mansion has 8 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, several living rooms and dining rooms, an indoor swimming pool, and a picturesque view of the Hudson River. Douglas and his wife also own a large apartment in New York City overlooking Central Park. The 15-room penthouse includes a master bedroom and a cozy library. In 2021, the property was put up for sale, but apparently hasn't found its buyer yet. The actor can rarely be seen in commercial advertising. The exception is the German electronic stock trading company Comdirect. But the most interesting one is the 60-second video for the FBI in which Michael appeared as his character from Wall Street. It is known that Douglas owns cars of different brands and times, from vintage to modern, in particular the Mercedes-Benz Army Type car and the Toyota Prius. Now, the Douglas acting dynasty is continued by Michael's eldest son, Cameron. But so far, his films haven't enjoyed great success. And which movie with this actor do you like the most?
Okay. 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 Okay.
If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything interesting.